Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my daily diary. I hope you are doing good and taking care of yourself. So in today's video, I'm going to share some information about Big Fours and EY. I have already uploaded a video where you all have asked a bunch of questions to me, and it's very difficult for me to answer everybody on time. There have been situations where I was not able to answer, and I could only reply after their interview or something. So I thought, let's create a video which will be helpful for you all, and you do not have to wait for my response. This video will be more informational as compared to my last video. Mostly I will be answering you all with all the questions you have, with all the doubts you have. Some of you asked me on LinkedIn, some of you reached out to me on Instagram, and some of you have commented in my videos. And I thought, let's create a video and answer everybody, so that it will be on your fingertips to just go back to video and watch whenever you have some doubts. So yeah, let's get into details about the video. As you all know, Big Four is nothing but top 4 companies in the world which provide IT and auditing services, consulting services, and they are their own competitors. There's Deloitte, EY, PwC and KPMG. So I work at EY, and I have friends who work at Deloitte, who work at KPMG and PwC. So I have like little information about those companies as well. So the very first question you all asked me about my background, my designation. So I am a tax analyst. I work for US tax, US direct tax. There are different service lines in EY or in other Big Fours. There is consulting, there is tax, assurance, legal advisory, strategy and transaction. I am part of tax. In tax we have indirect tax, direct tax, PAS, which is people advisory services. I am part of PAS. In PAS there is different departments like US tax, UK tax, German tax, India tax, China tax, and for almost all the countries. And I am part of US tax. I file individual tax return. File in the sense I prepare individual tax return for people who are in US, for the clients who are in US. And similarly we have services for all the countries like UK, China, Germany, Canada and so on. So if you are someone who has subjects related to tax in graduation, and if you are interested in taxes, then you can choose to go for taxes. It's a really great opportunity to work for tax. You get to learn a lot. Second question was, there are people who reached out to me and they were asking, we cleared the interview, but now it is time for us to choose the service line, because we do not have any idea about consulting or taxation or assurance. So I would give you a basic idea. I know friends from business consulting, I know friends from assurance, and I myself I'm in tax. So I'll give you a basic idea. Like I already mentioned about taxation, like how we have for different countries when it comes to direct tax or PAS. But in indirect tax we have like sales tax, purchase tax, and a lot more scope in indirect tax as well. I am not really familiar and I don't want to give wrong information. So of course there is indirect and direct tax. When it comes to consulting, there is technology consulting and business consulting. Technology consulting is mostly for people who are from engineering background, and business consulting is mostly for people who are from commerce background, who have done some certification courses, or their graduation subjects were related to commerce. There is assurance for people who have done CA, CMA, CPA, CCA. So let's suppose you have done some certification course. So you can either go for consulting or assurance. It totally depends on your choice. In assurance we mostly do auditing and all. So it depends on you. What I do not want to get into details, because I myself do not have a lot of idea about all the service lines. But yeah, these are like basic things. If you are from technology, if you have done engineering, you can go for IT department like strategy and transaction, and there's so many scope. They will let you know there. You get an option, you get a detailed PDF with all the information you require for different service lines. So make sure you go through it, make sure you read everything very carefully before choosing, because you will be working for it forever. So make sure you choose your career very wisely. Third question, it was most asked questions by all of you. So it was about my technical round questions. So guys, let me tell you, your interview is not going to get into deep about your subjects or what you have what you chose in your graduation and how much knowledge you have about all the subjects. They're not going to ask you these questions. If you're from a commerce background, your main subjects are going to be accountancy, economics, business. If you're from let's say engineering background, so if you're from a software engineering background, your main subjects will be related to like basic subjects. Of course I do not have idea about their basic subjects, but I'm just giving an example. Let's say if you are from commerce background, your basic subjects are going to be accountancy, economics, business, and your interviewer is going to ask you the basic questions. They are not going to get into details about what all you have learned. They will only ask you basic questions. For example, I do not remember every question. They asked me 12 questions and I answered all of them, but I do not remember every single question. However, I will give you a basic example. Suppose somebody, whenever you meet someone like your relative or your bhaiya, didi, whomsoever, when you are in school and they meet you, what question from math do they ask? Basic question, a plus b ka whole square, right? So that is the most basic question from maths. That is how, and everybody has to know when they have subjects like maths and all, they have to know a plus b ka whole square. Similarly, they will ask you most basic questions from your subject, related to your subject. For example, I got to ask what are the basic rules of accounting. There are 3 rules of accounting, right? Debit the receiver, credit the giver, debit what comes in, credit what goes out, these things, these type of things. So they will ask you the most basic questions which you have to know, because whenever you go for something, you have to have your basics strong. Then only you will be able to solve the difficult ones. So you have to have your basics clear, and they will only go for basic questions first. If you're not able to answer, then they will ask some formulas or something. But whenever you're going for an interview, your technical questions are going to be very basic. For example, from economics, they asked me what is break-even point, and I'm just giving an example. So these are the things, some principles in business studies, some names of some authors. So these are the things which you have to learn, which you have to and you know what is the advantage of learning basic questions? Once you have learned, you do not have to read, and you do not have to go back and read it again and again. You don't have to do आपको रटना नहीं है कुछ भी basic questions है तो you just have to make sure you understand the concept at first, and then it will be easy for you and you will remember it forever. So this is something which I would like to tell you all. All of you were asking me to list down all the basic questions they asked me. They are not going to ask the same questions, right? So this is the only way to tell you all that you have to learn basic questions. If you're from engineering background, if you're from commerce background, if you have done some certification courses, they will ask you basic questions related to, how many times I'm telling basics. Okay, so they will only ask you basic question, easy questions, concept wise questions. They will not ask you about rocket and science. Fourth question is related to what all skills do you need to be part of any Big Four. So if you are a fresher, there is no pressure. You do not have to learn everything. They do not expect you to learn everything. They want you to know the only beginner level of everything. You have to know Excel, you have to know PowerPoint, you have to know Microsoft Outlook. You should know basic. If they want you to write an email, you should know how to write. You should know how to approach somebody. You should know how to be proactive. You should know how to deal with people, how to start a conversation. They want you to know these things. They do not want you to know everything, and they do not expect you to know everything. They have been there and they know this. They know that we do not get to learn all of these things when we are in college. So do not take so much pressure that you should know everything. You should have all the skills. Just make sure that you know everything at beginner level. You know how to write an email, how to start a conversation, you know about Microsoft, you know about Excel, PowerPoint, and you are always, and they always look out for people who are keen interested to learn everything. They look out for people who have growth mindset and not the fixed mindset. It's not like you're just going there and sitting all the time, you're not trying to learn anything. They want people who are proactive, who ask so many questions, who ask how to do things, how to make sure everything is going well with you in the organization. So they want to hire people like that, when especially when you're a fresher, because of course they do not expect you to know everything, and you do not have to know everything. You will get to learn these things eventually. So do not take so much pressure, and just learn few things which like I mentioned, you have to learn these things and you will be good to go. Almost 3 to 4 people reached out to me asking question related to probation period. So guys, probation period is nothing but a temporary period where when you join the organization, you become a temporary employee to the organization. They analyze and evaluate your performance. It can be either of 6 months or 8 months, depending on, mostly it is for 6 months only, and they evaluate your performance, and then they get to choose whether, they get to decide whether you are going to be the permanent employee for the organization or not. So probation period is nothing but they look out whether you are the right fit, once you are hired, whether you are the right fit for the long term for the organization or not. So probation is a temporary employment, and after probation you become a permanent employee of the organization. So whether you are temporary or permanent, you are an employee to the organization. So of course you get paid. So many people were asking me whether we get paid during probation period or not. Like they have got the offer letter and they're asking, they have mentioned that you will be on probation for 6 months. So they were asking whether they will get paid. So guys, you will get paid just like a normal employee in any organization, whether you are on probation or not. No matter you are a fresher or you are a manager or you are a senior, whenever you join a new organization, you are always on a probation period for 6 months. They evaluate your performance, whether you are the right fit for the organization for a long term or not. Once they decide, once you meet all the criteria for them, they make you a permanent employee in the organization. So no matter whether you're a fresher or senior manager, everyone has to go through this process. Whenever you join a new organization, you go through the probation period, which is temporary employment, but you get paid, you get all the benefits which one permanent employee gets apart from your leaves. You cannot take long-term leaves when you are on a probation period. Apart from that, you will get all the benefits of just like all other employees. And some few tips and tricks I would like to tell you when you are on a probation period. Always, like I mentioned, be proactive, ask questions, try to learn new things. If you don't understand anything, do not sit just like that. Ask questions to your senior or manager. Then only they will get to know that yes, you are interested, and yes, you are keen to know things which are there for you to learn. So make sure you are doing your work with honesty, make sure you are putting efforts to learn things, and then everything will be fine for you. Another question is related to when one gets placed in the organization, in any organization, after how many days they get an offer letter. For example, I got placed in EY in November 2021, but I got my offer letter in the last week of June, and I joined the organization in the last week of July. My joining date was in the last week of July. I know people from Deloitte who got placed in October 2021, but they joined the organization in August or October 2022, after almost 1 year. So guys, it depends on the business requirement of the company. If they want to hire people in the month of June, there is a requirement and they want to hire, then they will hire you in June only. You'll get your offer letter by end of April or May, and then you'll get to join the organization in June. If there is no requirement, if they already have so many employees in the organization and they want to keep you on hold for 2 to 3 months, doesn't mean that you're not going to get hired. It means that they do not want to waste their resources on something which is not even required for the organization at that point of time. So they wait for like couple of weeks or sometimes a couple of months before they hire you. So if you have a letter, if you have an email that you are selected, then you do not have to worry, because you are going to get hired eventually, and it's worth the wait, because you're going to join a big four, which is a great start to anybody's career. So it's okay if you have to wait for a couple of weeks. It's no harm. So do not get stressed, or do not get to have some patience. Do not get to think a lot that what if they don't hire me, what if I don't get offer letter. It's nothing like that. You will get your offer letter eventually. Another question you all asked me was, when do they hire freshers and how your CV should look like. So like I mentioned, they hire you in the last semester if they are going to hire, if you're, because mostly they hire people as a fresher from campus only. I only know couple of people who have joined the organization outside their campus as a fresher. So they hire you when you are in your campus. But suppose companies do not come to your campus in your graduation, you can apply only after completing your graduation. You cannot apply in the middle, because they are going to ask you in the website that when you have completed your graduation, and the moment they see you that you have not completed your graduation yet, they will automatically reject, because they want people who do not have any other pressure apart from the job. They want to hire those people. So make sure you can only apply to any job in any company, not just EY or Deloitte or Big Four, any company, once you have completed your graduation, if you have not been hired through the campus placement. Suppose you are from a campus placement, then you will get to sit for the exam and interview during the last semester, and you will get your results in couple of weeks or months, and once you will only get to join the organization once you have completed your graduation. For example, I got selected in EY in the month of November 2021. I completed my graduation in May 2022 and I joined in July 2022. So it is similar for everybody. Everybody gets to join the organization once they complete their graduation, even if you have been hired through campus placement. Another question, CV format. To be honest, I spoke to so many people and there is no specific format for any CV. You do not have to have a specific format for your CV. Your CV should contain all the details which is required for any company to know, but they do not want you to highlight so many things. It should look simple, at the same time it should look informative. It should not be half informative just because you want to put a lot of things. Try to keep it minimal, at the same time try to make sure that you have all the information which is there for the company to know. So yeah, there's no specific format. You just have to put whatever information is there, whatever internships you have done, whatever courses you have done in your graduation or before the graduation, or what are courses you are pursuing. And once you have all this information in your CV, you are good to go. Last but not the least, of course, some tips and tricks to clear your interview. So my interview was for 32 minutes, and to be honest, not for a single minute or second I felt like this is going wrong, my interview is going wrong. I did not feel that, because it's not because I was not nervous. I was nervous in the beginning. At the same time, I was confident in myself. At the same time, I was not desperate about the job. When you are desperate about something, you tend to do some mistakes, you tend to speak something which you are not supposed to. So whenever you are sitting for an interview, make sure you are confident. It's okay to be nervous if you are nervous for some seconds or some minutes in the beginning, because once you start the conversation, it automatically goes out. You do not have to feel so much pressure. You do not have to take so much pressure on yourself for the sake of giving an interview. Your interview should not look like you are, sitting seriously and you are answering everything, looking at. You should have some expression, you should smile. It should look like a conversation, a healthy conversation between you and your interviewer. So make sure that you are not taking so much stress and you're not showing so much you're not desperate about the job, that I want this job at any cost. No, you do not want this job at any cost. You do not want this job at the cost of losing it, right? So you have to just be confident, not overconfident. Everybody says the same thing, that you should not be overconfident, you should be confident. But what confident is about, not being desperate, not letting yourself go out just for the sake of answering everything. If you do not know anything about the question they have asked you, you can simply say you do not know. You don't have to waste their time, because they have been taking interviews from so many years, and they know the moment you enter, they know. The moment they see your personality, they know who you are. So make sure that you are not pretending to be somebody else. You are being yourself, and you are answering all the questions with honesty. Not too honest, but at the same time honest enough to, they will know that you are being true to yourself, and you are who you are when you are answering them. So do not pretend to be somebody else. Do not use simple. If you are not great at communication, it's okay. They do not want you to hire you as an English teacher. They only want you to know the simple language, simple English language. You do not have to try to put some difficult vocabulary in your conversation just to fit in the conversation. You do not have to do that, because they will know that you are faking it. So just be yourself, be calm, do not take pressure. And of course, even if you are nervous, do not take it in a negative way. It's okay to be nervous. Even I was nervous. Everybody is nervous the moment they get on the stage, or the moment they enter the room talking to some unknown people. So it's okay to be nervous for some seconds or some minutes, and take your time before answering. If they're asking a question, you do not have to rush to answer. Once they complete their question, take a pause, think about it for 5 to 7 seconds, and then answer. This way they will also understand that you are interested and you actually want to answer the questions with more sincerity. So these are like basic things you should know before going for an interview. And of course, you have to be well dressed. You have to make sure that you have groomed your personality a little bit. And yeah, that's it for today's video, and I hope it was helpful for you all. So yeah, I hope you liked this video, and if you really liked it, make sure you share it with your friends, and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching.